And our Mola Lenghi joins us now with more coverage from Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. Mola, exactly how are officials preparing for this storm at this point?
Well, Rena, it's really an across-the-board effort. Federal, state, local authorities, local emergency crews doing everything from around-the-clock monitoring of the storm. You know, they've set up these emergency command centers where they're monitoring every aspect of this storm. They're staging emergency crews in sort of some of the most vulnerable areas, staging and also supplies. You know, they're prepping supplies, getting these supplies ready for after the storm, you know, when the relief effort begins. Everything from water to first aid, anything and everything that you could possibly need during the course of a relief effort. But the most significant way, and the thing that they're taking the most seriously today and the last couple of days leading up to the storm in terms of preparation, is getting the word out, making sure people are evacuating. You know, they are certainly not mincing any words when it comes to describing this storm. We've heard everything from it's a monster to it's going to be catastrophic, life-threatening. Governor Cooper of North Carolina came out yesterday and stressed, almost pleaded with folks, you know, don't put your life in jeopardy for the sake of this storm. You know, really trying to get the word out and not mincing any words, and if anything, you know, scare people into evacuating, because that's what officials think that it might take.
And for those people who don't listen, because we know that there always is with this hurricane, if you don't leave now, Mola, what happens for those people who don't get out immediately?
Well, emergency officials are telling us, and they're telling the public, today is really the last good day to evacuate. Today is it. I mean, you've got perfect sort of weather conditions. You know, the rain hasn't started moving in yet. You've got federal, state, local officials and emergency officials who are sort of providing the perfect atmosphere for evacuations. You know, they're rerouting roads in some instances, and they're right now is the most accommodating time to evacuate. After today, you know, once these mandatory evacuations are really in place and have been set, then, you know, officials and emergency crews and first responders and all these folks are going to really start shifting their focus to the hurricane, to the storm itself, to the relief efforts. So today is really the day. It's the last day to start to get out of town, to leave the coast, to evacuate safely. Anything beyond today, and you're risking getting stuck in traffic, you're risking getting stuck in weather situations, and you're really putting yourself at risk.
Yeah, so significant to hear them say today's last day. You know, Mola, the Army Corps of Engineers actually sent a team to North Carolina to keep an eye on the dams in that area. Give us a sense of what kind of damage could take place with Florence if the dams actually fail.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a lot of dams in this area, in both the Carolina areas. A lot of low-lying waters, you know, and you know, a structural failure on a dam, when it's combined with the amount of rain that we could be seeing, the amount of you know, the wind and the storm surge, and all of these things could just add to the sort of catastrophic nature of this storm. You know, it's something that folks, when I say folks, I mean you know, emergency officials, state and local authorities and emergency crews are really stressing, which is another reason why they're really pushing people to get out of these really vulnerable areas. You could have you know, a sort of perfect storm of events, so to speak, in terms of damage if some of these dams begin to fail. The storm system itself, Florence itself, is enough to be catastrophic if it continues on the path that it's going. But if, you know, again, if you start talking about dam failures and all the other sorts of unknown dynamics that could play out, that's really the most challenging part for officials and for the public. You don't know what's going to happen, so it's best to be in a safe place.
Absolutely. Mola Lenghi in Wrightsville Beach. Thank you very much for joining us, Mola.